Syrian rebels seized control of Hama, dealing a major blow to President Bashar al-Assad's regime. This victory follows their recent capture of Aleppo, signaling a potential turning point in the protracted Syrian civil war. Hama, strategically positioned between Damascus and Aleppo, holds significant importance for its control over vital supply routes. The city, Syria's fourth largest, fell to the rebels after days of fierce fighting. Spearheaded by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a powerful Islamist group, the opposition forces advanced rapidly, capitalizing on the weakened state of Assad's forces. The Syrian army, citing the need to minimize civilian casualties, withdrew from the city, leaving it in the hands of the rebels. The capture of Hama is a symbolic victory for the opposition. The city carries a legacy of resistance against the Assad regime, most notably the 1982 massacre under Hafez al-Assad, Bashar's father. This historical context underscores the significance of the recent events, demonstrating the deep-seated opposition to the Assad family's rule. The fall of Hama marks a significant shift in the balance of power in Syria. The Assad regime, grappling with internal strife and reliant on foreign support, now faces heightened vulnerability. The rebels, emboldened by their recent victories, are likely to press their advantage, potentially pushing further south towards Homs and Damascus. The Syrian civil war, now in its 13th year, has been characterized by brutal violence, shifting alliances, and a devastating humanitarian crisis. The recent rebel victories in Aleppo and Hama, however, signal a potential turning point in the conflict. The opposition, once fragmented and outmatched, has gained ground, demonstrating a newfound unity and military strength. HTS, a key player in the recent offensive, has emerged as a dominant force within the Syrian opposition. Despite being designated as a terrorist organization by several Western nations, HTS has garnered support among some segments of the Syrian population, capitalizing on the Assad regime's brutality and the lack of a viable alternative. The Syrian National Army, another significant opposition group, has also played a crucial role in the recent advances. Though ideologically distinct from HTS, the two groups have cooperated strategically, recognizing the need for a united front against Assad. This fragile alliance, if it holds, could reshape the trajectory of the conflict. However, the situation remains complex and volatile. The Syrian government, bolstered by its allies Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, is unlikely to accept defeat easily. While their support has waned due to other geopolitical priorities, these external actors still wield considerable influence in Syria. The capture of Hama has far-reaching implications, potentially destabilizing the region and exacerbating existing tensions. The involvement of international actors, each with their own agendas, further complicates the situation. Russia, bogged down in its war in Ukraine, has reduced its military presence in Syria, creating a vacuum that other actors might seek to fill. Iran, a staunch ally of the Assad regime, views the Syrian conflict through the lens of its regional rivalry with Saudi Arabia and Israel. Tehran has provided significant military and financial support to Assad, aiming to maintain its influence in Syria and secure a corridor to its Hezbollah allies in Lebanon. Hezbollah, the Lebanese Shiite militia group, has been heavily involved in the Syrian conflict, deploying fighters and resources to bolster Assad. However, the group has also suffered significant losses, both in Syria and in its recent conflict with Israel. The potential spillover of the Syrian conflict into neighboring countries is a serious concern. The influx of refugees, the rise of extremist groups, and the involvement of regional powers have already destabilized the region, fueling sectarian tensions and exacerbating existing conflicts. The humanitarian cost of the Syrian civil war has been catastrophic. Millions have been displaced, both internally and externally, creating a refugee crisis of unprecedented scale. The recent fighting in Aleppo and Hama has exacerbated this crisis, forcing thousands to flee their homes in search of safety. The United Nations has expressed grave concern over the deteriorating humanitarian situation, highlighting the urgent need for increased aid and access to besieged areas. However, the international community remains divided on how to address the conflict, with geopolitical interests often trumping humanitarian concerns. The capture of Hama, while a significant victory for the Syrian opposition, does not necessarily bring an end to the conflict any closer. The Assad regime, though weakened, still retains considerable military capabilities and the backing of powerful allies. The complex web of alliances, the involvement of regional and international actors, and the deep-seated sectarian divisions within Syria suggest that a swift and peaceful resolution to the conflict remains elusive. The coming months will likely witness further bloodshed, displacement, and instability, underscoring the tragic human cost of this protracted war.